This piece was written toward the end of a honors seminar about climate change, more specifically about the global approaches and multidisciplinary efforts to address climate change, confront it as an issue. So essentially we talked about all sorts of different aspects, from one, the exact science, but also how climate change has far-reaching effects on the economy, international economics, national security, and for me, the most new and compelling perspective out of all of them was certainly our conversation about ethics and climate justice. Essentially, this piece was a direct response to the former Irish president, Mary Robinson, her stellar book, Climate Change, A Man-Made Problem with a Feminist Solution. Even just from that title, you get a sense of this different perspective on climate change, her experiences learning across the world about different people's experiences and background with climate change. Reading that book was incredibly eye-opening, and for this piece specifically, I reflected mostly on the themes that I found to be particularly compelling, and then bringing in other materials, quotes from other sources that we had read throughout the semester. So this piece is really just a student learning about climate change, learning to become a better advocate, really, finding ways to convey really important themes with other people who may similarly not have even known what climate justice was and who are wanting to educate themselves on how they can grow as a climate change advocate. For the actual writing process itself, I would say it was an incredibly difficult piece to write, but really rewarding in the fact that we had a page limit that I of course went over in my first draft. I was sitting there sifting through my list of quotes that I had drawn from Mary Robinson's book, trying to find the ones to comment on more specifically, give them the page space, finding the quotes that were most illustrative of, one, how important it is to educate people about climate change, and two, for those of us who are privileged enough to really even just consider climate change in this kind of way, hold ourselves and others accountable such that the groups that are unfairly burdened by climate change, we are able to help them, and then as a global society create this new culture where we are not succumbing to this idea of there's no way to fix climate change, but instead empowering one another and finding ways to have productive group dialogue to have the most inclusive, effective solutions possible. So for that writing process, that's definitely just really lofty ideas, and so finding ways to try and succinctly convey my emotional response and those two key frames of, one, educating people, and two, ensuring a just transition for all as we move into hopefully a more sustainable future. It was really challenging to narrow the piece down and hopefully hit it right on the head. So looking forward, I think, for future writing about this kind of similar emotional response reflective piece, I think I would definitely continue to jot down important quotes that immediately stick out to me and resound with me as themes that are new and intriguing. And I'm really grateful to simply have had this opportunity in class to have such valuable time for self-reflection. And I think definitely as a writer, as a student writer, writing specifically about, most prominently, Mary Robinson's book, definitely meeting her a couple months later at the international negotiations, the United Nations Climate Change Conference, with my entire class and all my peers from that seminar was so valuable, and it was really touching and amazing to see all these themes come to life and see how they are very much alive and present in current dialogue. So I hope this piece overall really does provide a quick glimpse into these topics that I really think are truly valuable, and I hope that everyone reading this also learns something just as valuable. Thank you.